Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelly gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys. I hope that all of you are doing good. Now I've said this many times in my videos, but when it comes to my most favorite all-time scent DNA, scent profile, that's the scent of Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme Parfum and Dior Homme Original. And I'm always excited when a new clone of any of those three fragrances comes onto the markets. And in this video today I'm going to show you one such fragrance from the brand of Maison Alhambra that's called Dior Intense. When you look at the bottle, you can probably guess right now that this is a clone of Dior Homme Intense. As usual, I'm going to first show you quickly the packaging, the presentation and the bottle design of Dior Intense. The fragrance comes packaged in this black colored box with silver accents on it. On the front you got the name of the fragrance, the name of the company. On the back you got some additional information along with a sticker of authenticity. On the bottom you have some more legal information along with a batch code that is June of 2023. Engraved on the front you got the details like the bottle size 100 milliliters and the concentration EDP. All in all, it's the box is pretty simple, nothing spectacular. And then this is how the bottle looks. Design wise it's very similar to the original bottle of Dior Homme Intense, although this thing is larger and it's quite a lot heavier compared to Dior Homme Intense. The cap is plastic, and one thing I've noticed about my cap, as you can see, that inside part that actually sticks onto the top of the bottle is not glued to the cap itself, so sometimes it stays onto the actual bottle, so the quality control isn't great, but all in all, the packaging is pretty alright and somewhat close to what you get with the original fragrance. If you enjoy my videos guys, but for some reason you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It will really mean a lot to me, it helps with the growth of my channel, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Okay, now on to the note breakdown of Dior Intense. As per the website where I bought this fragrance from, the note breakdown has the following notes. The top notes are vanilla and lavender, the middle notes are iris and lavender again, and the base notes are vetiver, cacao and cedar oud. I'll show you the spray in action now, and then I'll talk about the scent of this fragrance. The sprayer is decent. It has a wide distribution but doesn't put a lot of juice out, so you probably have to adjust the number of sprays when you're using this fragrance. And now onto the actual scent of this thing. Immediately after spraying, what I get is that iris note, which is the main player in this fragrance like it is with the original. I pick up straight from after spraying that cacao note as well. It's a nice cacao note. There's a touch of the lavender that adds a bit of a creamy freshness in the background. There's some of the the cedar oud that this fragrance has. So all in all, the opening is mainly about the combination of iris and cacao. I don't pick up much of the vanilla. Once this starts to dry down, the iris is still there. Of course, it's the main note in this fragrance. That woody note, the cedar oud note starts to become stronger. I start to pick up some musk on the dry down. The musk note is not listed as an official note, but I definitely pick it up. I get some sweetness from the vanilla, but all in all, it's a pretty linear type of scent. It doesn't change that much from the opening to the dry down. The scent is very enjoyable, but it cannot be any other way for me, simply because, as I said in the beginning of the video, this is my most favorite scent profile when it comes to men's fragrances. Now onto the similarities of this with the original scent and how it differs. If you know how Dior Homme Intense smells and you smell Dior Intense, you immediately recognize that this is cloning Dior Homme Intense. In the air, it's very similar, to the original scent, and even more experienced frag heads will probably have a hard time to actually, distinguish which is the original and which is the clone. But if you smell this thing up close, on your skin where you've sprayed the fragrance, there are a few differences. Firstly, at least to my nose, the original scent has a stronger iris note. It also has more sweetness in the opening. This thing feels a little bit more spicy, a little bit fresher compared to Dior Homme Intense. Also, Dior Homme Intense just feels stronger. That's the simplest way that I can put it. On the dry down, they become very similar, but still, you know, the original scent is still slightly more sweet, and it just feels of higher quality. But then you have to take in account the price difference between this and the original scent. Now on the deep dry down, this is where they become almost identical, but you have to wait for a few hours for that to happen. When it comes to the performance, now the total longevity on skin that I've been getting from Dark Door Intense was pretty solid. I've been getting somewhere around about the 6.5 to 7 hours of longevity on my skin, but where this thing lacks, at least in my opinion, is the projection. It's quite soft when it comes to the projection, and it projects, you know, for the first about 1 hour, and then it starts to become more of a skin scent. So when it comes to performance, unfortunately this cannot touch the original scent. When it comes to the price tag, it's a very inexpensive fragrance. Again, I'm quoting the prices that I'm paying for my fragrances. I got this off a site called Makeup. They have a network of sites across Europe, and I paid about 18 euros to get Dark Door Intense, which I think is actually a pretty decent deal, considering that I'm getting a clone of my most favorite scent, DNA. When it comes to versatility, this of course is a scent profile that's more orientated towards cold weather, definitely. But because it feels slightly more airy and slightly fresher compared to the original scent, you can probably get away with this, wearing this in slightly warmer weather, as long as you don't go too heavy on the trigger. And now on to my final thoughts about Dark Door Intense from Maison Alhambra. Now I have, at this point, I have quite a few Dior Homme Intense clones in my collection, and I can say that all the others that I have are actually a little bit better than Dark Door Intense. Some of them have higher quality scent-wise, others perform better compared to Dark Door Intense, but still, you know, some of them or most of them are pretty hard to come by at this point, I think, around the world. So probably Dark Door Intense is the most accessible option when it comes to Dior Homme Intense clone. Still, on its own, this is not a bad fragrance scent-wise. It's actually pretty close to the original scent, especially on the dry down, and especially in the air around the person who wears this. It's almost identical to the original scent. It lacks a bit of the performance, but then again, it costs like a fifth or 1/6 of the price of the original scent. So at the end of the day, I guess you get what you're paying for, you know, money wise. Oh, you know, I like Dark Door Intense, and I can recommend it, but only if you cannot find fragrances like Cayenne Classic from Al Watanier, for example. If you cannot find that fragrance, then Dark Door Intense is probably your next best option when it comes to Dior Homme Intense. Oh, you know, this fragrance gets a like for me simply because I'm a sucker for this DNA. So guys, in today's video I showed you a very inexpensive clone of Dior Homme Intense from the house of Maison Alhambra called Dark Door Intense. I hope that you found this video interesting or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.